If you thought that Katy Perry and Friends in space was cringe, check this out. This is Samantha Cristoforetti, and she is Europe's first commander of the ISS. We gave Jeff Bezos' all-female crew a lot of backlash for their performance aboard the Blue Origin Shepherd. But is Samantha's performance on the ISS any different? To make it even worse, she even has her own Barbie doll. Check this out.
Cristoforetti also has her own Barbie. In 2019, Mattel designed a Cristoforetti lookalike doll and put it on sale in 2021. The company donated some of the profits to the charity Women in Aerospace Europe.
So today we gotta point out a lot of hypocrisies, and then I gotta break down the real agenda behind this psychological operation. Ever since Jeff Bezos' Pink Power Party fake space flight, the internet has been on fire about how fake this thing is, and people have been pointing out those discrepancies, including myself. Now, I know what a lot of y'all was thinking. Maybe everybody'll wake up to the truth. What truth is that? That space is fake, period. We never went to the moon. There are no people floating around on the ISS. Space itself is just a program that exists in your mind and is one of the most lucrative government budgets out of all the budgets. If you like me and most of the people that sub to my channel, we know that no one is going to space. There are no real astronauts. They're all actors. And a lot of us, we thought that this would be the moment that the world would wake up. A lot of us thought that the virality of this Jeff Bezos flight would lead to the world waking up about the space programs, period. But come on now, really? You know that's too good to be true. So let's break down what this psychological operation was all about from the beginning. Peace and love, and welcome back to Bro Sanchez TV, everybody. I knew from the very moment when this story started to go viral and I started to see it all over the place, even on the big mainstream platforms, I knew from the very start that it was just too good to be true. If it was a hit piece on space, if it was some sort of bad pub for Jeff Bezos' space flight, the mainstream media outlets would have never covered that. They would have never let that get out. So I knew there was some to it from the get-go, and I actually scheduled a live stream for Sunday where I was gonna go into the PSYOP aspect of this whole thing. So I said to myself when I saw this story going viral, why would they do a hit piece on themselves? Why would they be making everyone question the legitimacy of spaceflight? That don't help them, that hurt them. Then I realized the entire agenda after I watched a few videos from big science channels and from mainstream outlets, and also a video clip from Elon Musk that's going viral where he's joking on Jeff Bezos and his trip. And I'll be reacting to that video clip and reviewing that during my live stream on Sunday. The link to that live stream will be in the video description. When I saw a lot of the big platforms covering this, and I saw that they were indeed calling it fake and giving it a lot of ridicule, something didn't seem right to me. Now, I will admit that I was enjoying the idea of everyone questioning the legitimacy of space travel, but something in my mind said this ultimately can't lead to the happy ending that I think is gonna manifest. That would just be too good to be true, right? So while I was watching a couple of platforms cover this topic, a lot of these big platforms, what they were saying was how disrespectful this is to real space travel. And then it clicked in my head. They're gonna try to use Jeff Bezos as a scapegoat and throw him under the bus to authenticate all of the other space programs. This is old news to me and my community. We've been questioning the legitimacy of space travel way before Blue Origins, way before Jeff Bezos. My question is, what made the world question this particular flight? Because I can admit it was hella fake and it was easy to point out the many glitches in it. But I will also admit that NASA's space missions are hella fake, and it's easy to point out the glitches in those too. So I was wondering, why would they call one fake and not the other ones? And then it hit me. America is a misogynistic nation. We are a patriarchal nation. And we tend to scrutinize things that women do more than men. Now, I know this isn't going to sit well with a lot of people. If this were a group of men taking that same trip, it wouldn't have been scrutinized as much and people wouldn't have been finding that many flaws. In fact, other people would have been pointing out those flaws and they would have been getting laughed at and all of that. You know, like us flat earthers. The reason that the world was looking at this trip under a microscope is because of the pink power posse that was involved. We're talking Katy Perry. No one likes Katy Perry. We're talking Gayle King. We're talking about the most annoying people in mainstream media. So whoever was behind this psychological operation, they know very much so how to play chess. They knew exactly who to include for this trip to make it be such a hit piece, to make it be watched under a microscope. This is a huge psychological operation because I can show you video clips of all men crews doing the same thing that the women were doing, partying, flipping around, having fun. All male crews treat space travel like a children's inflatable all the time. I mean, literally, if you split screen an all male crew next to an all female crew in the Blue Origin, you will see that they all do the same thing. So in my opinion, the reason that the all female crew became the target of a hit piece is because the cast that was involved. But I wish we would stop being so selective and start scrutinizing all of these missions, and you will realize we never even went to the moon. And by the way, Candace Owens is entertaining the idea that we never even went to the moon. She interviewed Bart Sibrel, whom I also myself interviewed.
And if the B-52 bomber, which was built, get this, Sanchez, the B-52 was designed 70 years ago. And there's 200 of them still in service in the United States Air Force because nothing works better. So if you spent an equivalent of $200 billion to make rocket ships that go to the moon practically every time, I don't think you'd destroy that technology or the blueprints or the schematics. And then they also destroyed the telemetry of where the rockets really were. And then they also destroyed intentionally all the original videotapes that could be transferred to HD, but they destroyed them all before that could be happened. So if you really went to the moon and spent $200 billion, you would never destroy the technology, never destroy the videotapes, never destroy the telemetry. But if you faked it, that's exactly what you would do.
Get in the comment section and let me know, do y'all want to see another interview with me and Bart Sibrel? Let me just summarize the agenda behind the psychological operation. This entire hit piece was more intricate than we think, because most of us know that there's no way that the human body can travel at the speed of a bullet. I don't care who you are. But what this hit piece does, it helps authenticate the government space programs and space programs like SpaceX. And they're using Jeff Bezos as a scapegoat, as the one to throw under the bus for everyone that knows that space can be faked. Everyone is faking space, but because of that, to get the heat and scrutiny off all of the space programs, what they will often do in a lot of situations, they will give you a scapegoat so that all the focus will go to the scapegoat versus the entire program itself that's been under scrutiny for years, way before Jeff Bezos. And they do this little trick in a lot of different situations and scenarios. when it comes to sex trafficking. They all do it. They all participate in human, trafficking. But what they'll do, there will be like a big investigation going on in the government or a certain big corporate group, and they will expose a big trafficking situation, and they will throw him under the bus like Epstein. Remember, everyone partied with Epstein and Diddy. But to get the heat off everyone that's involved, we will give you a scapegoat, and now the people will go back silent as if it's all gone away. They only gave you a few scapegoats, and that'll silence everyone on the situation. So in this case, Jeff Bezos is the scapegoat. He's been used to authenticate the rest of the space programs. And I knew this was the agenda the moment I saw how the mainstream platforms was covering this story, because everyone was concluding with, this is disrespectful to real astronauts. This is disrespectful to real space programs. I got news for you. There's no such thing as real astronauts or real space programs, because there's no way that the human body can travel at the speed of a bullet. I don't care who you are, whether you Gail King or Neil Armstrong. And the main things that they're going to use to support their bogus claims are a bunch of theories we've all heard before. They're going to go into technology worship, as if the technology can allow a human to withstand 82,000 Gs. And they also going to go into the physical training of the astronauts. And people, you're going to have your diehard believers, and that's all it is, a belief system. It is not based on any kind of facts. You have to just believe all of this silliness. But yeah, you're going to have your diehard believers in the comment section saying, Sanchez, you just don't understand physics. You need to go back to school. Let me break down to you how you can survive a ride on a bullet. A human can survive 70 Gs, 82 Gs, Sanchez. You just don't get the science. And what they want us to believe is that Jeff Bezos faked space, and we were all able to know that it was fake because these women don't have the training for it. Everyone is saying that it's fake, and you got to ask the question, why? Where's their evidence? Where's their proof? Because they watch a lot of space videos and they don't say that those are fake. For example, here go an all-male crew doing the same thing. They didn't say that this one was fake. So what was their reasons for knowing without a shadow of a doubt that this particular flight was fake? Well, the number one reason is that these women aren't trained. They aren't physically fit. That was even a reason that I gave as well. But the truth is that how physically fit must a human body be to survive 80 Gs? Don't you know that the human body will black out? Anywhere from 5 Gs to 9 Gs is life-threatening. You can black out. Traveling at the speed of a bullet would put you anywhere from 72,000 to 90,000 Gs. A human is not going to survive 100 Gs. I don't care how much training Neil Armstrong had, how much training Buzz Aldrin had. I don't care if you Gail King, Katy Perry, or the Apollo 13 crew. It's just impossible. And this is the conversation that the world needs to be having. But because of this psychological operation, the conversation that the world is having is female bashing. These women are goofy. Let's joke on the women. Jeff Bezos fake space, and it's disrespectful to real space programs. It's disrespectful to real astronauts. So this is going to make the world actually double down on the legitimacy of space travel, which is the opposite of what most of you probably thought when this thing first started going viral. People, I got news for you. And some people can't handle this red pill. We never left Earth's atmosphere. Even ancient cultures talked about the fact that we cannot pass the firmament dome, aka the Van Allen belt or the Van Allen belts, which are the ethers. And I'll be going into exactly what the earth is, but the earth ain't what you think. I'm going to just say that. And the people in power don't want us to know who we are, where we are, what we are, why we are. This is why the space programs are so important. It's not that they're exploring the heavens. They're trying to keep us from exploring who we are based upon where we are. Space doesn't exist. It's a program that's made on a film set and sold to you with propaganda. So since we know that no one can ride on a bullet and survive, no matter who you are and no matter what kind of training you got, space travel ought to be thrown out the window altogether. It's just a big cash cow. And they're all in on it. Jeff Bezos is in on it too. He has to be the scapegoat to take the fall so that the rest of the fake cash cows can keep going versus everybody go down. So when one tree die, it replenishes the soil and give life to all of the other trees. The truth according to the ancients, what's up there is not space. They called it the heavens, plural. There are different states of matter, what we call spirit, body. There are other states of matter beyond just the spirit, the body. We only know a few states of matter, but there are other forms of consciousness that exist in different states of matter. Some of those states of matter exist in higher realms, some exist in lower realms. It's based on the laws of density. Heavy things fall, light things float. They rise. This science was the science behind who go to heaven and hell. When your soul get light and purges itself from heavy energy like hate, anger. The word anger is anchor, by the way. Hatred, jealousy, all of these heavy emotions, it weighs the soul down. It keeps you from ascending. So the law of density is real. It's a universal law, and it became the foundation of ancient spirituality, which is the whole concept of some people going to heaven, some people going to hell. The people that go to heaven, they are what? Light in all senses of the word. They shine bright like a diamond. They are light beings, but also they're not heavy, so they're able to rise. And the people that go to hell, they're dark. They're covered in muck and heavy emotions, heavy energy. They've blocked their light with the muck and mud and filth of this realm, and they can't ascend. The only way out of this earth is to master yourself and die a natural death and give up the ghosts like Christ did and perfect your energy. Become a being of righteousness and high vibrations. That's the truth. That's the only way you can leave this earth and access the heavens and travel up here to the skies. You can't cheat this with technology. And that's why the space programs want to keep y'all lost, thinking that man can leave the earth. All of the ancestors said no flesh and blood can enter the kingdom of heaven. And the heavens, today we're calling those the upper layers of the atmosphere. We're limited to a certain layer, and we can't go no higher than that. And many people call that ceiling the firmament dome. And another way you can look at it is just like this density experiment. All of the elements in our realm, they are confined to a certain pocket of existence, just like any particular item in any particular medium layer in this density cup example. So the ceiling that's above us, the medium up there is less dense than everything in our reality, which is why nothing here, including the human body, can pass over beyond this barrier. Just like the cherry tomato can't leave the dish soap and go to the water layer. Just like that boat at the very bottom that's in that honey, it'll never rise up to the corn syrup unless it transforms itself over time. And that's basically how these ethereal barriers are separated by nature, by the universe, based on the law of density. That's man's threshold. It's the highest we can go. So this is a big psychological operation, and the agenda behind it is to authenticate the world's space programs during a time where they've been under heavy scrutiny. And the purpose of this operation is to get that scrutiny off of the world's space programs and to put it on Gayle King and Katy Perry and Jeff Bezos.
Has severely damaged the credibility of genuine space exploration efforts. The accusations are scathing.
I told y'all, I'm gonna play that part back. That's the most important part.
The trip was a complete fabrication, a publicity stunt masked as innovation, and one that, according to the plaintiffs, has severely damaged the credibility of genuine space exploration efforts.
So if you guys want to watch this entire news clip, it's a 10-minute one. I'll leave that in the video description area. I played enough of it for you to get the point, and I hope you understand the psychological operation and the agenda behind it now that you've seen this video. Make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe. And most of all, get in the comment section and let's talk about this psychological operation. And do you guys agree with me that they're throwing Jeff Bezos under the bus to authenticate the rest of the fake programs? Let's talk about it in the comment section. I'll see y'all there. Peace and